My name's Sydney, I'm 16 years old, and I'm a junior at Denham Springs High School. Some greatest struggles that I have overcome in my life are cutting and depression and having to live with parents who don't really support any of my decisions that I've made in my life, and having to go through that is really hard, but I've overcome, and I have security in myself, and I feel like I don't have to go through that again and go through that and struggle with that anymore. During junior high was really the hardest time for me to feel close to God, because I was bullied way too much than someone really should be. My 7th grade year was the worst, really, for me. I was bullied every day, I hated my life, and I really just, I felt like God wasn't even there, like He didn't exist. Everyone who believed in God just was wasting their life believing in something that wasn't gonna happen, that wasn't gonna help. And I didn't have any help, I didn't have any support, and I just felt really alone. A turning point in my life would definitely have to be when my friend invited me to church about 2 years ago. It was just supposed to be a sleepover at her house, and she had pretty much gotten me into going to church, but I went, and whenever I went, I remember the pastor said that if there's anything that you regret doing in your life, you should just give it over to God. And I don't know why that impacted me so much, but I remember I just went up to the altar and I started weeping, and that was just like the really big day that I had broken before God and given my life to God. And ever since then, it's been a shaky road, but I've always leaned and trusted on God for everything. I think the closest I felt to God would have to be whenever my grandfather died in my freshman year of high school. I remember whenever we got a phone call, I couldn't believe it that it had happened, because I loved him. He was the closest thing like I really had, the closest family member I had, and I couldn't believe that God would have taken someone from me like that. But then I realized, you know, it wasn't really his doing. He was sick, and I just remember going to my room after I got the phone call and praying about it and asking God for help. And I remember I just felt security, and I felt like everything was going to be okay. And I felt like everything was going to be okay, and I was going to be fine, and this whole situation was going to be worked out. And I felt just so overcome and close to God that it's not even imaginable. I'm a Christian because I feel like everyone should have a sense of security and hope in life, and God is my sense of security and hope. Before I had God, my life was completely empty, and I didn't have anyone to rely on, and I had a lot of trust issues growing up. But whenever I became a Christian and I got saved and I found God and God came into my life, it filled me up with a sense of joy and hope and security. And it's a sense of joy and hope and security that I want everyone to feel, especially in like the darkest time you think it is. It's just, you can always turn to God and have that sense of hope. And it's no greater feeling than to have God in your life. My name is Sydney, and I am a Christian.